Well, hello there and welcome to another edition of the Big Q. Today I have the pleasure of hosting the Managing Director of Equity Bank Rwanda, Mr. Hannigton Namara, and of course we will be talking about what the bank is doing to set trends in the market. Welcome to the show and thank you very much for making time to be with us.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Like I've said now, Equity Bank has been acclaimed to be a bank that sets trends, you know, in the marketing, or rather in the financial world. What are some of the trends that your bank has come up with that is trying to challenge the scope currently?
Well, thank you so much for hosting us on the show. Equity Bank, in the region where we've been, even here in Rwanda, I guess I would summarize it and say we are known for self-disruption.
Yes.
We disrupt ourselves, we disrupt the sector in where we work by doing different things. It's obviously the same bank, like any other bank that offers financial services, but I think the difference here is how we do things differently, and then we also do beyond banking services.
Okay.
We do a lot of things in the social sectors. You've seen programs that we run that are not necessarily related to banking, like the education program, like the entrepreneurship program. All the things just to make sure that we contribute to the society in which we operate as well.
So what are some of these trends that you've brought on market in Rwanda right now that you can talk about? Well,
yeah, back to the banking side, what we do best is disrupt ourselves in the way we deliver our services. And I would categorize that in two ways, the operational side, but also the credit side. Recently, we brought in what I would call a millennial transformation.
Okay.
And it's basically looking at the whole bank and seeking to digitize it, to making sure that all processes that would have taken you to a branch. So we are demystifying that space of a branch that would have taken you to a branch to go look for a branch manager or a staff in the branch to be given service, from account opening all the way to transactions to borrowing.
I can do that on my phone?
Everything you can now do it on the easy banking platform, which we launched about a couple of weeks ago. So it's a digital bank we brought. So what would have taken you to a bank normally to do any service, unless you need to speak to a bank officer for advice or for having a discussion about your business. The rest of it, you can now do it on the phone. So you can start, and we first of all looked at how do we leverage the mobile telephone technology that you see everybody. And I think the invention of the phone is starting of things, because wherever you are, you can leave your computer home, and walk. But you're in the journey, wherever you are, you're with the phone. So we started looking at how do we then make the bank a lifestyle service as well. So that wherever you are, whether at night when the bank is closed, whether over the weekends or public holidays, you still have access to your bank to do any service you need to do as if you are in the bank itself. So that we call it easy banking, and it's a set of all the products. We have about 10 products on the easy banking platform.
Okay. Yeah. So this easy banking that you're talking about, I'm looking at a Muturaje who probably doesn't own a smartphone.
Yes.
How do they access this? Because I'm sure it's not only for the elite.
No. No. One of the things that we are known for is as a bank as well, and which is at the center of our DNA, is financial inclusion. So we looked at how do we cater for the common man, common person on the street or in the villages, wherever they are. That's why I said we needed to leverage telephone penetration. So we have currently the tools or the platform available on what they call feature phones, Karasharami and Katochi, as they call them. So you dial *555# hash and you're on easy banking platform. You can do anything you want from there.
Really?
Oh yes. You've seen our agency network, our agency platform. Our agency platform, wherever they are, the agents of Equity Bank, wherever they are in the countryside, can open accounts, can receive deposits, can dispense money.
But is this only for Equity members?
Yes, it's certainly for now.
So you only have to be...
For now, yes. For now, what I would probably add to that is that our digital bank is completely interoperable. So you can move money from the digital bank to a wallet of telecoms or to another bank. So the services you would require, obviously you have to be a bank customer, you have to be an Equity Bank customer. For starters, we thought two things that guide us. How do we make it very convenient for our customers to ensure that they have the bank with them wherever they are? So at the center of designing our systems, we're looking at conveniency and easy with which we can do the transactions. So you'll find our easy banking platform the most customer friendly or the most user friendly application, and that gives you the convenience of doing the transactions wherever you are.
But how safe is it? For example, I lose my phone. How safe will I know my money is safe with Equity Bank? How safe will I know with the *55# no one else can go through my phone? Well,
there are risks that come with the modernization and digitization for that matter. But I would emphasize on two big items that we consider. In the design of the systems, whether it is core banking, the usual one, or the app that is available on the smartphones, or the USSD on the feature phones, they are all built on very high levels of security, to the extent that we certified all the applications on it. So you would have situations of people wanting to hack into the systems or wanting to hack into your phone. That is not possible with Equity Bank. But there are the other types of risks that can come from your side as well. So you lose your phone, as you said, or you share your password. That opens up everything. But other than those two, sharing your password, and even sometimes when you alert the bank that you've forgotten your password, there are security systems to protect you, to ensure that they find out and verify whether you're the owner of that phone or the owner of the account, so that you will protect your money. So on security, I would give the highest assurance that we have actually done things, as I said again, to disrupt ourselves. We have a team of engineers who hack our own system. Just to try and see if anybody did ABC. Then they do a lot of research and find out, and they keep testing the system to see how robust and resilient it is. And we've not found any problems so far. No.
So on the Big Q, we do give voice to our viewers. We have a question here from Mujish on Facebook. He says, why do we have to queue so long to get to the ATMs? And then we also do not get the ATMs. The other question he asked, please ask him why we cannot come up with our own PIN numbers. Why do you have to go with your PIN number that you give us at the bank?
Okay. First of all, one of the things that has led us to actually do self-disruption or invest in the technology we have on easy banking was to deal with the queues. Because of our nature of and our core beliefs, because we want to be a bank of the people, we have removed certain barriers, including account maintenance fees. So with Equity, anyone can have an account, and we will not charge you a small coin, not even one. We put your money there, you'll find it the way it is a year after. So that has attracted a bit of numbers, to the extent that even people who wouldn't have gotten an account in other banks, because you would have to pay, say, 2,000 per month. If you had 2,000 per month only, and that's what you have, what you earn, you can only begin an account in Equity, not elsewhere. So that has attracted a bit of numbers, and we then thought about how do we then make it more convenient for these people to stop going to the branch and queuing up. That's when we started investing in the technology, easy banking. So I would tell customers that for sure you go on to the self-service platform, that's how I call it, and enjoy the lifestyle, enjoy the convenience. You don't need to go to the branch anymore.
And the idea of the PIN number, why not give them the opportunity?
On the PIN number, you have the option. Once the one we give you at first is the first one, but you have the option of changing it. You can actually change your PIN on the app. If somebody is there on the app, they can contact the branch and they show them how to change the PIN. But you can change your PIN as many times as you want. Except I would caution that when you change the PIN many times, you may also forget which one. Forget which one. And that's what we see most times. Customers changing PINs all the time. And they forget which one they recently used, and then the service gets blocked. You have to go to the branch again and be given another PIN.
Now we move a bit now. One Conrad says interest rates from banks is a bit higher. What is the reason and what are the plans to downsize it?
Great. I think it's a good question. Interest rates, yes. The cost of money is a function of many things. It is a function, of course, number one, of where the bank would have gotten that money. If it comes free from people who are saving money, then it is easier for the bank to also extend that loan or that facility at a lower rate. Now, but there are other reasons why the cost of money is what it is, because you would imagine, and I usually tell customers that you have policymakers, we have central bank looking at what banks do, but they also, as banks are businesses, they also have a cost to deliver the service. So operating costs also quite high and synonymous with what the country currently can afford. So the cost of funds or interest rates, for that matter, what the customer sees at the end of when they're signing for loans, is interest rate. Now, interest rate has many things in it, but the biggest driver in it is the cost of money. Where does the bank get that money to lend it, and at how much can it afford to lend? So basically it depends with who wants. Yes, yes. But there are things that are being worked on to reduce that. Number one is people are glad to see that Rwandans are actually now in the habit of savings. So they save some money, and then banks have available deposits that they can use to extend loans to people at a lower rate. But there are also things that we're doing, like this digitization. This digital platform is going to improve my efficiency levels to another level. If I get my 80% of my customers being on the self-service, then I can probably appoint all my staff to be managing directors, because they'll have more customers. Of the 12 million in Rwanda, then if everybody has an account in Equity, I can have as many virtual branches as I can. So there are things that we're working on, all of us as a country or a sector, to ensure that the cost of money becomes as affordable as it can be. Rosalind also asks, now poor loan quality and high non-performing loans remain a challenge for the Rwandan financial service institution. Why is this? How do we solve this problem? Well, I would say it is not unique to Rwanda. It is a function of the economy. Sometimes it may be business failure that is occasioned by different things. Business failure may be wrong decisions on investment. It may also be occasioned by the hurricanes that you see in the US and other places, things that are not normal. But in the normal circumstances, you also have people who are not honest to honor their part. So all those lead into non-performing loans. So the Rwandan economy, I would actually give credit to the financial sector. Despite all the headwinds, the NPLs have remained in acceptable levels. I think, as per the last monetary policy by the central bank, it was ranging between 10 to 12. It is more higher in the microfinance institutions. And again, there, if one analyzes properly the reasons, you find a few people borrowing with intent not to actually pay back. But in general terms, it is not only to Rwanda. I think the financial sector, the banks are between somewhere 6, 7, 8%. And when you look into the region, probably that's the best in the region. So it's many times reasons that are beyond the businesses. But I would want to think that all private sector people, or people who are borrowing money and they know this money needs to be paid back, so it can be given somebody else. As we continue to improve the understanding of that and understanding the risks that are involved in every sector, in every business, and how we mitigate those, then we'll continue to deal with an NPL problem going forward. You mentioned saving, and it's good that you mentioned that we as Rwandans are now adapting it. Yes. But you think the small initiatives or the small things that you put up in a bank also encourages, the population to save? Because the numbers are still low. How do we tackle that really as a country? Yeah, the numbers are still low for sure. And there are a couple of things that are being done to tackle that. But to start with, you have what do people save? I mean, if they had the money, why don't they save? And savings can be of different types. One may choose to save in cash, or the other may choose to save in property, or shares. So people start now understanding the essence of saving for tomorrow. And for me, that is what is important, creating a culture. And then the small things that everybody is doing, from policymakers, government that usually does, you hear the Minister of Finance encouraging people to save, the private sector, everybody at an individual level. When we all understand the essence of saving for tomorrow, then that will create resources in the economy to use. Yes, the numbers are still low, but it is the beginning of a journey. And the beginning of a journey that has ingredients. Each one of us at an individual level, but as a bank, as Equity, we also improve, we encourage our customers to save. For starters, how do you save? You need to have an account.
Yeah.
So opening an account on a phone is in itself a way to leading you to saving. For starters, you need to also access your cash whenever you need a bit of it. You can go to the agent and get that done. So those are enablers of savings or getting people to save. Now, we need to continue telling everybody that it is important that you can save, because I don't believe that no one has the ability to save. Everybody has the ability to save. It's a question of changing the culture and agreeing that we all need these savings for common use, but also when you need it tomorrow, it comes in handy when you've saved.
Now, Kaitesi asked questions. A good number of Rwandans borrow money from external sources, which of course hinders the growth of the financial sector. What needs to be done to encourage them to do so from within?
Great, it's a good question. I would not say a big number. If there is, it's a small number. But a bigger number of Rwandans don't need to go abroad to borrow. They borrow from banks, the banks here, because there's enough, for sure. Access to credit has been made easy, and for most of the project size, they can find financing locally. Now, there is an issue of cost. Is it cheaper here? Chances are not. But also, when you look at the other side of the coin, for example, some of the businesses that have borrowed externally, there are issues when we get the franc depreciating, exchange rate becomes a challenge. Yes. So sometimes they don't think about these risks. Should say, if you borrow, you can't borrow externally, and you borrow Rwanda francs, the chances are they give you foreign currency. Yes. And for you to pay back in foreign currency, if you borrowed at, for example, when a dollar was 600 and it is now at 850, then you can see already, do you have that similar room on your margins or in your profit that you can then add it on, or on your selling price? Chances are maybe not. Yeah. So those are the challenges. But most businesses that borrow externally have actually factored into all these issues. There are also facilities that are available to them. We know there's a facility at the central bank for hedging, for conversion. So you borrow dollars, for example, you place it to central bank, they give you Rwanda francs. Yeah. Then when you're paying back, they give you at a rate that they sold you to. So there are facilities. The big question is, have we done what we need to do before we get the money from whatever getting externally? Okay. And if they did it right, there's no harm. If it is cheaper, if it is
good for them.
Yes, good for them.
Well, do take a short break with that note, and we will be back shortly. Do keep it the big Q. Welcome back, and thank you very much for keeping it the big Q. We're still talking about finance and what are some of the trends that are disrupting the market, especially the Rwandan market. I'm still talking to the Managing Director of Equity Bank Rwanda, Mr. Hannigton Namara. Now, when we went for a break, of course, we were talking about how people borrowing from outside and some of the risks. Yes. Now we're talking about the low penetration of financial institutions, particularly in rural areas. How is Equity dealing with this?
Well, thank you so much. That's a great question. First of all, I want to think that the financial deepening strategy, Rwanda government or central bank as a lead partner on that, they've been embarking on, is actually great. To date, we have over 16 commercial banks. You have, I think, about a bigger number of microfinance institutions, and circles, 416, because they are based on the government structure, or Murenge. So, and those are points of service for the financial sector. Now, I don't think that the issue of access or penetration is still a challenge. I think it is the wealth and the reach of the products that will then attract in the people, so that everybody sees themselves either in the circle or in the microfinance institution or in the bank, as the case may be. Now, that is also complemented by the digital platforms. Ours, Equity, that we just recently launched. So you don't need to have to find a physical place to go to. It is rather the service available to you wherever. So on your phone, for example. And I know that other banks are also doing a couple of things in that direction. So the issue of low penetration, I think, is a thing of the past.
It's now growing,
It's more the awareness that we need to invest in more resources, in those of us in the sector, in partnership with the policymakers. But once people understand that this is good for them, that there's good value for them to be saving money, or also being involved in the financial sector, so you become a player, I think that will improve a lot of the issue of access.
But now let's talk about now the education. Now, you educating, the local people to know your products, because it's one thing to have it, it's another for them not knowing. So what are some of the sensitization programs that are ongoing to ensure that people actually know it is easy to bank on your phone, you don't have to go to a merchant and stuff like that?
Yeah, we've recently, in the past, done a couple of things. For example, agency. I think it's a common thing out here that people know agents and work very well for Equity Bank. We've also been investing in campaigns. We will soon be going out with the Easy Banking campaign very strongly. We will reach each and every place. We will have plans to go to Umuganda, so that people, when they are doing the community day work, we are there, we talk about it. But also, they expose information in our branches, where we are. We are very active on social media. You will see us a lot on Twitter, on Facebook, showing people that this can be done. In fact, we've seen a lot more improvement in the digital space, where we have customers who are not in Rwanda. They are all over, the diaspora customers who are now saying, we can now operate our accounts as if we're at home, but when they are in their areas of work, wherever they work. So that is helping. But locally, I agree, we will need to do more to sensitize people, because there was also a bit of, should I say, stigma for some of the people who didn't know how good it is to be in a financial institution. People saying, I don't want to be known, my money is my money, I feel comfortable when I have it with me, under my mattress. But that is changing slowly. The government is working so hard in telling people, you should be able to put money here or have an account in the bank, because that comes with ABCD advantages, including being given credit. So that to me is a changing dynamic.
Now, speaking, of course, of giving back and coming up with trends that is easing the work of the financial institutions in the country, what are some of the major projects that you have in the country that you can mention that you're actually giving back to the community?
We've participated in many initiatives for giving back to the community. And I would be honest with you, even things that we've done so far, including agency banking, it is not money making for the bank. We call it shared prosperity, because in fact agents make much more money than the bank, than Equity.
Really?
Yes, because on a transaction they make more than I make. So that in itself is empowering those businesses or giving back to them in a sense. We've also participated in social programs when it comes to the times in April when we have a tragedy of genocide being commemorated. We've reached out to orphans and widows and done a couple of work there, given cows. I think last year we gave in excess of 20 cows. We recently also gave the Chinyinya Orphans Village water, access to water, clean water. We've also done a couple of others in areas of sponsorship. So we participate in every good so for society item. But we also are going to be launching the Rwanda chapter of Wings to Fly, which we are known for in the region, an education program that deals with scholarships. So we're looking at those areas. And remember, Equity Bank Rwanda is only 5 years old here. This is the sixth year actually. So we needed to have first embed the bank and make sure it starts making a bit of money. Then we can invest in those, and meaningfully this time, in those social items that we think can transform our society.
Now, as we sum up and before I let you go, I think it's very important to get your thoughts on what we call the cryptocurrencies, bitcoins. You know, we're seeing these things coming up, people making crazy money, others losing out of it. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, that's an interesting dynamic. And as a bank, we position ourselves to continue learning, because in the financial space, there is probably the biggest disruption is about to happen because of technology. So we didn't have in the past, we didn't have fintechs. We now have fintechs. People lending money to customers in Rwanda and not having a presence in the market. We don't know where they are, where they are located, no offices, but they are transacting. Currencies, Krypton and all the others, we don't know who owns them. Is there a physical currency? Do you need a strong room for it? Probably not. Mobile money was another one. We did not know at some point that you can have money transferred on your wallet. You needed a bank account before. So all these things that are happening are a revolution to learn from. And I think the challenges we have as traditional bankers is to look at things in the eyes of regulation, and who now knows where cloud computing, who regulates it? Where is that cloud? Absolutely. Where does that data go? We don't know. Yeah. So it's something that I would say, from our perspective as a bank, we learn. That's why we open up our systems and make them completely interoperable. That should there be any of those dynamics or new revolutions coming in, they can connect to our systems and operate quickly. So we don't have a problem with it, but we sit in to watch. In a bit. No, we are prepared for it.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for making time to be with us.
Thank you so much for having us on the show.
Well, you've been watching The Big Q, and of course I've been talking to Mr. Hannigton Namara, who is the Managing Director for Equity Bank. Do keep it The Big Q, and of course keep sending in your suggestions on who you want to see on the show. My name is Fiona Mbabazi. Keep it Rwanda Television.